right now. Firstly, Julia Bahr, and then following Julia will be Kate Massey. They're going to be talking about 360's Game Changer, the accuracy and reliability of the FX swaps and spot data universe. Now, just incidentally, one of the brands that I represent in my role is a brand called Buy-Side Technology, and we announce awards on the first Friday of November every year, and 360T won 2 categories this year. That was just I've never met Kate before. It was just coincidental that I didn't know that she was presenting today, but 360T won 2 categories in this year's Buy-Side Technology Awards: Best Buy-Side EMS and Best Buy-Side Execution Venue. Perhaps we'll have an opportunity to chat a little bit about that towards the back end of her presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, firstly, Julia Bahr, and then following Julia will be Kate Massey.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia Bahr. I'm part of the Market Data and Services team of Deutsche Börse Group and your contact person when it comes to FX data on the MDS side of Deutsche Börse. So a major milestone in the FX history of Deutsche Börse Group was when Deutsche Börse and 360T joined forces. This had a huge impact on MDS, our department, Market Data and Services as well, because we were able to extend our market data offering. So specifically, the focus is on FX spot and swap data coming from 360T, the SDF, the swap data feed, and the EDF, the essential data feed. And the one mission of MDS is and still is to make the data available to a broad mass of clients and market participants. Therefore, we are very proud to say that we have partnered with Bloomberg, being the first vendor to provide the data from 360T via the Bloomberg terminal and the Bloomberg B-pipe. So today we want to show you why you should take a look at the data and why it's so outstanding in the market. So therefore, we have invited our guest speaker from 360T. She's the product expert, Kate Massey. We are very delighted to welcome you here, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Julia. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Try and get this to work. So a quick overview of our market data products at 360T. We will be spending, just because of time, we'll be looking at the EDF and the SDF today, which is our essential data feed, which covers spot and obviously our swaps data feed. Apologies in advance for all the acronyms you're about to hear also. But as I said, we have 5 products within the suite, separated into pricing data and executed data feeds, which is represented by our flows data feed here, which provides daily directional volumes on our 360 trading platform. On the pricing data feeds, as I mentioned, we have the EDF, the SDF, and we also have our precious metals data feed as well. And all of that is wrapped up, it's stored, it's captured and it's stored and presented under a historical data feed as well. So of all of the data products there, our swaps data feed really is our jewel in the crown product. 8 years ago, we recognised there was a gap in the market for better swaps market data that also included turn dates and other non-standard tenors as well. So we partnered up with Digitech, who you may or may not be familiar with. They're incidentally another German firm, and they specialise in producing swap trader tools. And together, we created the SDF. And so the SDF is a streaming swap mid-price and bid offer and mid-price from overnight out to 10 years along the curve, which covers 44 currency pairs within G10 local markets and NDFs. It's totally separate to our execution platform on 360T, and instead it's actually comprised of 21 tier 1 and super regional banks, which contribute their swaps curve directly to 360T. And then using the D3 software from Digitech to clean the data, to aggregate it and anonymize it, we're then able to distribute it as an independent feed. What's also crucial for the swaps data feed as well, which really sets us apart, is the access to additional data points along the curve. So yes, we have the standard tenors, of course, and the IMM dates, but we also have these additional data points, and specifically they're the monthly, quarterly, and yearly turns, and also the central bank meetings, of which we cover all the major central banks. And these dates are all actively managed by these traders sitting in these banks, these contributing banks that are sending their swaps curve to us. So the curve is extremely granular, it's very accurate, and we have about double the amount of data points over our competitors. So here's the currency scope that we cover. We're very well covered within G10 EM or local markets and NDFs, and we've got great liquidity throughout the day for G10 and EM. Obviously, there are some emerging market pairs that are naturally better or more liquid within local hours, as you would expect within normal liquidity. G10 is generally out to 10 years, local markets or emerging markets out to 5, and NDF out to 2. As you can see there, we cover precious metals, and this is covered under the precious metals feed, which you saw on the first slide. Same principles apply as the SDF, it's just a different source, and we cover that under a different product. So I wanted to sort of highlight how important those additional data points are. And I thought this is a really powerful visual that highlights that. And so what we're looking at here is a comparison between a competitor, who shall remain nameless, and their IMM data and the SDF. So the red line here is the competitor data. So if you were to ascribe to this competitor's IMM date. The yellow line is the same competitor, but it's their interpolated data. And as you can see, there is really barely any difference between those two. The same for the blue line, which is actually 360T interpolated data. Again, they're all pretty aligned. There's not much difference. The real standout here is the green line, which is the 360T SDF. And it is a big outlier in terms of accuracy. And that's, again, because, as I mentioned, these additional data points and the fact that the SDF actually subscribes to the bank's IMM date. So again, you can imagine how valuable that accuracy is. Just drilling down on that a little bit further, the importance of these central bank meetings and these beginning and month end. So what we've got here are two graphs. They're both over the same 3-month period for dollar CAD. The left-hand side is just showing the standard tenors only, and I've just highlighted there the 1 month and the 2 month in the red circle. Here we've got the same 3-month dollar curve, but this is the SDF feed, and it includes these additional non-standard dates, which again I've highlighted in the red circle. And you can see at the bottom, granted I don't expect you to read what's highlighted in yellow because it's very small, but I've written below what those additional data points are between the 1 and the 2 month, which is being captured additionally, and that's the Bank of Canada meeting, the end of month, the beginning of month, and the Fed meeting. And it's pretty clear to see there is, a vast difference between the two. And the SDF curve is a much richer curve and much more granular and accurate because of these data points. So rather than we just have this downward trend of the 1 and the 2 month in the first graph, you can see quite clearly an upward fluctuation in the second. And you can imagine for people that are using this SDF how valuable that information is. So how is SDF being used? So SDF is certainly helping clients in their profitability, their risk management, and their best execution of swaps. And we have a range of different client types from both buy side and sell side who are using the data, and they're using it in a number of different ways. And so here are just some use cases that we see time and time again within our SDF client base. So, price construction, we've got some clients that are using this for their price construction and to, boost their market making capabilities, but also, use it as a rate reasonability and to check their outbound curves. Compliance off market controls, or even, a reference rate, either internally or externally, where they need an independent feed. And, incidentally, we're seeing a big increase in middle and back office using SDF in addition to the front office as well in the trading desks. Price discovery, if you've got access to the SDF, it means you've always got access to accurate price discovery, so you don't need to relentlessly keep asking your banks or your providers. Enhancing trading strategies and backtesting, obviously very important. Performance benchmarking, so if you're using this data, it means that you can actively and accurately benchmark your trading performance, and as well as support your best execution mandates, which for some of our clients is really key. And lastly, TCA. It's a reliable and independent source and pricing feed that you can use for your analysis and also for TCA. And we have some of the largest names out there in that space that are using the SDF as an independent feed. Sample data is available. Very happy to provide this. In fact, we actively encourage you to run your own analysis and check out the quality of the feed. So now moving and switching lanes to the essential data feed, which is our streaming spot market data feed. And so unlike the SDF, which is very unique for the reasons I've just touched upon, there are obviously very many spot data feeds out there. But what we have here with the EDF is a very good representation of the spot market, and it is, certainly a fraction of the cost of some of the other data feeds, spot data feeds that are out there. So it provides a mid and average spread in different bands, in 500K, in 1 million and 5 million notional. The snapshots are every 100 milliseconds, and we have the option to reduce that down or increase that as low as 10 milliseconds. And different to the SDF, which is obviously a contributed feed from the banks, this is actually sourced from 360T's global execution platform, which is disclosed pricing, of which we have 200 liquidity providers and 2,000 clients trading on it daily. We have recently upgraded the methodology as well to provide a really strong and robust and very quality output. So very happy to provide you with the details behind that methodology and the parameters we use to create that composite. And we have the white papers for EDF and for all of our products, which we happily share with you, of course. A quick nod to the currency scope here. So G10 and local markets, very well covered as you would expect. But we also cover precious metals and some other more niche pairs and crosses, and that's really just a reflection of our execution platform on 360T, which we think is also very additive to the feed. And so lastly, how can you access SDF and EDF? And we have different ways to be able to provide the data to you. But to take advantage of the data in its best form is certainly by streaming market data. And that's available under 360T with a fixed API, or as Julia alluded to at the beginning, it's also available via Ceph-Core and the Bloomberg P-Pipe and Terminal, which is great, and is also the Bloomberg piece is also very new and exciting. Within 360T, as I mentioned, different ways that you can consume it, and part of that is within our infrastructure. We have the data sort of woven within some of our workflow solutions, and one of that is EMS, which Victor mentioned. We have desktop GUIs as well for traders if that's appropriate for them. And as I mentioned, some external TCA providers are also using SDF as their reference pricing. Any questions on any of the products that I've mentioned today? Hi, Victor.
Hi. Can you switch this on, please? Sorry, thank you. Kate, I wanted to just find out a little bit more about the EMS part of the service that you're offering the marketplace. I've just checked my records now, and you guys won Best EMS in last year's Buy-Side Technology Awards as well, so that's 2 years in a row. It seems to me that pretty much every buy-side firm that I speak to has an EMS of some sort. Usually they have multiple along various different asset classes, etc. What I want to know from you is, clearly this is FX related, right? What do you see as your kind of key differentiator from an EMS perspective? Mm-hmm. And what are the kind of ingredients that come together to create your secret sauce that specifically from a buy-side perspective, buy-side firms would find valuable from your organization?
So you're right, we did win a couple of awards this month, which is great. We also won Market Data Awards with you last year. So market winning award data and EMS solutions. But EMS is a really broad subject, and I've mentioned that 360 is a trading platform, but we're also a technology provider, and we've got these now award-winning solutions to see through the whole workflow for a client. And there are lots of different ways which sets us apart with our EMS, but data, our real-time data, is most certainly some of our secret sauce, which sets us apart, and why we're seeing such growth in this area, and why we're seeing such engagement around our swaps data feed as well. And that's because the real-time data is fully integrated within our EMS solutions. And amongst other things, it means that it is in conjunction with our auto execution rules. And so that means that for some clients that we have, they automate all of their trading flow, and that's including swaps. And that's because we're able to use SDF, and there are a number of different workflows that the SDF touches upon. But the biggest one and the biggest draw for a lot of our clients is the fact that it acts as a tolerance rate for the auto execution of spots. So you would never be able to, you have to trade within a certain tolerance of the mid-market price. So that's extremely powerful, and it's really pushing forward that whole automation piece within the market.
Great, thank you.